That's why we thought it was so important to repeal the bill. The tree is rotten, you cut it down, and if we can't cut it down and succeed doing that all at once, we'll prune it branch by branch.
That is Republican Congressman Dave Camp out of Michigan talking about the Republican plan to replace the health care law. Most Americans, according to polling, hold that view. Here's our polling now from Fox News, released just late yesterday. If they were casting a vote on the health care law, 56% would repeal it, 39% say keep it as is. Here now, Juan Williams. Fox News political analyst. How you doing, buddy? Good morning to you.
Pretty good, Bill. Good morning.
You know, those polling numbers, they haven't changed much. That shows you the headwinds for this health care law. And we're 3 years away from it being implemented. What do you make of the numbers?
Well, the numbers are a little different than most polls. Most polls have it a little closer in terms of opposition and support. But the key element that I think that, for example, the Democrats say when they look at those polls is there's a large sector, about 25% in most polls, that say the health care law doesn't go far enough. So they're people who wanted the public option included. And when you ask people specifically, should it be repealed right now, then the numbers begin to shift with Americans saying, we just want to rejigger it.
But not dramatically. I mean, here's their second poll. You and your family, how are you under the new health care law? Are you better off, worse off, or no difference? 36% say they're worse off. This thing isn't even implemented just yet. 40% say no difference to this point. To your point also, here's another question. What should happen with the new health care law? We've got that now. Do you repeal part of it? 34% say yes. Do you repeal entirely? 27% agree. That's 61% want changes already, Juan.
Right, but what you just saw, Bill, was 30. I think it was 27%. You said that say repeal the whole thing. So that brings the number down
entirely,
substantially.
27%.
Yeah. Right, so that brings it down substantially, and I think that's what the Democrats are focused on. Now, the Republicans are taking what I think could be a successful path here, which is they have 4 committees designated to look at specific provisions of the bill that don't impose changes on people, but try to keep costs down at the same time to allow people individual choices. Again, the critics say, how are you going to allow people, for example, not to be required to have insurance, and then at the same time say that people with pre-existing conditions would be covered? So there are a lot of tensions in there. But I mean, the good path, and this is what I wanted to highlight for the Republicans, is they have the opportunity here, as we've seen from the polls, to pick up on public opinion and get President Obama and the Democrats to look at the weaknesses in this bill and say, here's how we can improve it. And if they do that, I think they put the president on the defensive because of public opinion.
Okay, now Democrats will tell you, and they'll say it's an uphill climb, it's never going to happen. Mitch McConnell, 2 days ago, is on videotape saying you can forget about all those arguments. There will be a vote in the Senate. I want you to react to that in just a moment here. Here's the Republican from Kentucky.
I hope the Senate will soon follow suit with a vote of its own. The Democratic leadership in the Senate doesn't want to vote on this bill, but I assure you we will. We should repeal this law and focus on common sense steps that actually lower costs and encourage private sector job creation.
Well, do you have any reason not to believe McConnell when he says that?
No, I mean, but again, I didn't have any reason to not believe Boehner when he said there was going to be a vote in the House. The thing is, of course, Democrats are the majority in the Senate. I don't see that they're going to have sufficient defections. They had 3 defections in the House. They're not going to have sufficient defections in the Senate to allow the bill to pass. And even if it did pass, Bill, they've got a Democrat whose signature legislation is the health care bill in the White House who would veto it. So that's why, it's like, well, this is a political exercise, but I think the good of it, and I think this is what the American people will say, is are they actually trying to improve this bill to make it so that it's not going to drive up my taxes or drive up my premiums, but allow me to have better coverage and less costly coverage?
To that point, read the Washington Post, your former paper, in Charles Krauthammer's column today, who says, put it on the table, Republicans. Let's see what you've got. Show the American people. Right. Show what the dollar amounts add up to with the current plan versus your plan. Juan, I'll give you the last word. We got to run.
That's good. See, I think Krauthammer's onto it. They can't just be repeal. It's got to be repeal and replace with something that people say makes sense.
Thanks, Juan. Have a good weekend.
You too, Bill.
Enjoy the football. See you later.
Hey, buddy, it's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be.
Tell you what, it's going to be. Excited. He can't wait.
It's going to be cold. I mean, Chicago and Pittsburgh, they're going to be in single digits. Wind chills be, well, below freezing.
Did you see those cheerleaders? I thought they might want to put a sweater on. They're going to be kind of chilly out there in Pittsburgh, don't you think? Do you have a Pittsburgh Jets pick yet, Bill?
No, I do not. But I told you I'm doing my research.
He crunches all these numbers. By the end of the show, I want to pick.
Yeah,